We've reached the end of the first week of the veto session. I mentioned to you last week that we would begin that veto session. Of course, nowadays they call it the wrap-up session. Right now, I would have to say that progress is a little slow and probably frustration levels going up a little bit too. That was pretty much evidenced yesterday, I believe it was, when the Senate took up another tax bill that would have raised, I believe, $514 million. That went down by a count of 18 in favor, 22 against. Those voting against it, of course, looked at it as not raising enough money, especially since we do not know the numbers that are going to be necessary to fund the school finance formula. So that creates a little bit of the dilemma we have going here, and there's several moving parts here that are trying to, I guess, come together so that we can, I guess, bring the session to a close. Of course, we have the tax bill, and the way I have described it to a lot of people, years ago, we used to put together a budget, and then you would work on the funding, and if the funding wasn't enough, you would have to take things out of those, the budget bills, and that would take place when the negotiations were going on between the Senate and the House negotiating teams. So what we're doing now, I guess, is putting together a tax bill, and essentially you do not have a target. And of course, we also have the school finance group over there working on a school finance formula. That started out very promising, and it's kind of gone full circle. They started out with what I consider some pretty ridiculous ideas. That kind of came full circle to where they had a formula that was similar to the 1992 formula that, as many will tell you, worked quite well as long as it was funded. And it worked well until the governor implemented the block grant program. Subsequently, we find ourselves now with a tax bill going down once again. Some people, as I mentioned, felt it wasn't going to raise enough, and what they would be looking at is trying to fulfill probably what's, I guess, estimated to be a $150 million commitment to education over about a 5-year period, if I recall. And so there are others that said, well, it'll take care of the first year or two, and then we'd have to come up with something else. Still others would like to see a separate budget bill, for all the things we've done this session, and then actually have a school finance funding bill separately. So we will see what happens on that, I guess, Monday. In the meantime, the budget committees have been steadily doing their work. The House has pretty much got their budget put together, as well as the Senate Ways and Means. And we will have to wait to see what the funding's like, and then we would be able to put those together. So that bill that the Senate worked on yesterday actually had some things that many people liked. Of course, it eliminated the 4-year-old exemption for LLCs, which just put quite a crimp on our budget. Likewise, it brought about a 3-tier income tax bracket type system, and I think that was a desire of many people to have that in there. So I'm not sure what they're going to do next. I do know that they have their work cut out for them next week, and obviously all those things need to kind of come together. And until that happens, we're going to, have a difficult time getting out of this session. So everybody's going to enjoy the weekend. And if I may, I'd like to wish all the mothers a very happy Mother's Day, and hope all the families can get together and enjoy some time.